Good morning, Year 7s. Sorry for that I can't be there in class with you today, but I hope this YouTube video that I'm creating helps you revise for tomorrow's test. You would have already got an email sent out by Miss Smith which details exactly what the test is going to be on and when it is. So it's on statistics and integers. It's going to be tomorrow, Tuesday the 20th of May. It'll go for 30 minutes. And you're not allowed to use a calculator, and there's no notes. Okay, so calculator free, no notes. In terms of revision material, you already know that you've been given your practice test, a physical copy, which I hope you've tried. And I've assigned two more revision tasks on MathSpace. One of them is called statistics revision, and the other is called integers revision. And then you've also got a number of questions you can attempt from these exercises. So let's look at this video. Let's watch this video that I've created, and then you're going to try these two MathSpace tasks. All right, so we're going to revise statistics because integers is pretty fresh in our memory because it was the most recent thing we did before Best Buys. So remember, with statistics, there are two types of data. There are categorical data and there's numerical data. So categorical data is normally represented, or one way of representing it is a bar graph or a column graph, and it represents categories, as you can see in this example here. So someone's favorite video game. So when you have categories being measured, that is categorical data. Whereas numerical data is when measuring numbers that have significance. So the number of goals that are scored by a player on a team, or the number of brothers or sisters someone has, or how tall someone is, or anything like that. For numerical data, we've got to remember our mean, median, mode, and range calculations. So you need to know that the mean is the average. So when you add the scores together and divide by the number of scores. The median is the middle when the scores are in ascending order. So ascending order means from smallest to largest. Smallest to largest. The mode is the score that appears the most, unless all the scores are appearing, say, once or the same number of times, then there is no mode. And the range is the difference between the highest score and the lowest score. So it's just the maximum take the minimum score. Okay, let's go through some questions where we apply these statistical measures. So we've got this first question. A stem and leaf plot has been given that shows the age of people who enter through the gates of a theme park in the first 10 minutes. And we can see there's a key here, which shows us how a stem and leaf plot works. So like 1/2, for example, which here means 12. Okay, so each of these leaves represent a person's age. So something like this, 9 actually means 29, or 5 here means 35, and so on. All right, how many people pass through the gates in the first 10 minutes? Since each leaf represents a person, we just count the number of leaves. So if you count the number of leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19. What is the age of the youngest person? We can see that easily because a stem and leaf plot is in order from smallest to largest. So the youngest person is going to be 11, not 1, but 11. The age of the oldest person is 53. So this seems like this person is what we call an outlier in statistics, which is a score that's much different from the rest of the data. So we've got 53 is the oldest. The median, remember, is the middle. So if there's 19 scores, I know the 10th one is going to be the middle. So I know it's going to be this score here of 20. But if you didn't know that, you can just cross off one number from each end. You work your way towards the middle. So for example, cross off one from here, one from here, one from the lowest end, one from the highest end. And you keep on doing this until you make your way towards the middle. And if you do it correctly, then you should get 20 as the median age. That's what's left. If there were an even number of scores, then you'd have 2 scores in the middle, in which case you'd have to take the average of those scores. Okay, the modal age, the score that appears the most, it looks like it's going to be this 35 because it's appearing 3 times. And the other numbers only appear either twice or once. So 35 is the modal age. The range is just, well, it's not asking us to find it, but if we wanted to find it, it would be 53 minus 11, okay, which is 42. Okay, question 2. So we've got a dot plot here. The goals scored by a football team in a single season are represented in the dot plot below. So this particular team scored 0 goals on 3 different occasions. They scored 1 goal in 5 different occasions or 5 matches, etc. What is the modal number of goals scored? So this is easy to calculate because we look at the one that has the most dots. So we can see that the modal number of goals is 1 because it is the highest, it has the most number of dots. Question B, find the median number of goals. Again, we can just use our crossing out method here. So if we cross off 1 from the lower end, 1 from the higher end, and we keep on working our way towards the middle, keep on going, and we will get to 2. If we wanted to find the mean, for example, we would add the scores together and divide by the number of scores. So you do, say, 0 plus 0 plus 0, and then you got how many ones? You got 5 of them, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So you can write 5 times 1 if you want. Plus blah, 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 blah. And then you divide it by however many scores there are. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. If you're doing it on a calculator, just make sure you press equals after figuring out the total and then divide by 17. All right, question 3, we've got some categorical data this time. A student conducts a survey asking their class members what their favorite video game is. The results are displayed here. So what is the most popular game? The tallest bar we can see is Bash Sisters. So that's the mode. The modal category. Which 2 games were equally popular? So which ones have the same frequency value? So we can see that Underlook has a frequency of 6, and so does Elf Fortress. So Underlook and Elf Fortress. How many students took part in this survey? Well, we can easily figure that out because we know the frequency for each category. So we know this one here is 7. We know this one here is 6. This one is 9 and 4. Then we've got 5 here. So if we add these numbers together, we're going to get, I believe it's 31. 7 plus 6 is 13. 13 plus 9 would give me 22. 22 plus 4 is 26. 26 plus 5 is 31. Okay. And we wouldn't be calculating the mean or the median or range or anything like that for categorical data. All we can say is that there's a modal class, which is, or a modal category, which in this case would be the Bash Sisters, is the most popular. Finally, we're going to look at some problem-solving questions where we really need to use our brain here to be able to think about how to solve these problems. So instead of just me giving you like a set of numbers and calculating the mean, median, mode, and range, let's have a look at where we have to actually use our brain a bit more. So question A, find the missing score in this data set if the mean is equal to 6. So we've got 5 scores, but one of them is missing. This one here is missing. And we know the mean is equal to 6. So that means if we add the scores together, and this box represents my missing score, and when I divide by 5, because there's 5 scores, I need to get 6. Well, that means that the total, this bit here, has to add to 30, because 6 times 5 is equal to 30. So if I know that this has to add to 30, I can easily figure out what that missing box is. Okay, so that missing box is, well, 1 plus 8 is 9, 9 plus 12 is 21, 21 plus 3 is 24, so this has to be 6. So the missing score is equal to 6. Okay, so you're kind of working backwards here to find out what the missing score is. In question B, the mean and median of a set of 5 numbers is the same. We don't know what the mean and median are, we just know that they're equal to one another. If 4 of the numbers are listed here, 3, 4, 5, and 8, what is the missing number? Okay, so we know that if we've got these scores, 3, 4, 5, and 8, and the 5th score is an integer, and it can be anywhere. It can be like here, or it could be in between the 3 and the 4, or between the 4 and the 5, etc. We really need to think about what this missing score could be. So because we know that the mean and the median are equal and they're both whole numbers, you know that the average of the 5 numbers has to be a whole number. So when I divide some number by 5, I have to get a whole number. So what could that total have been in the first place? Well, it could have been, for example, let's say 20, or it could have been 25, or it could have been something like 30. So, but what's the only thing that would make sense here? So, for example, if it was 20 as the total, it would make sense, because then 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 would equal 20, and then 20 divided by 4 is 4. But if that was the case, then it would mean that the missing score would be 0, which would then